Good morning, good evening, and good day. Thank you so much for watching AtkPwr Gaming. Today we have our second game against Vulcan in the SD2 League Season 8 in the group stage. If you enjoy this content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and consider joining me on Patreon. You get access to the Discord, you get game replays so I can help coach you, along with actual 1v1 coaching, or one-on-one coaching I should say, if you hop into those tiers. Let's dive right in here. So first things first, let's go over all the preparatory things of this game. So first things, so when you play League, you have like select bans and all that kind of stuff. And here's what we had going on. We got our 5 maps. He banned, what did we go? I banned Krupa. I banned Krupa and Harushage. He banned Slutsk and Slutsk East, which left us here on Bobr. He kind of forced me into this. It was either this or Harushage. And I will admit that Harushage is definitely a better map, but I personally hate playing on it. Like, I just don't do well, and he did it on purpose because he knew I don't like that map, so I forced us onto this one. And I don't actually hate this map. I play it all right, so it wasn't like, oh god, I'm screwed kind of thing, but this map can be really frustrating. So that's how we ended up here on this map. In terms of bans, I banned the 4th Fallschirmjäger, Task Force 45, and 2nd ID. Then he banned 5th Cav, 28th Jaeger, and 17th SS. And then I banned 1st Piatori, Tatra, and 4th Fallschirmjäger. Something's wrong there. Oh, whatever. And then 78th Sturm, 97th Guard, and 1st Lovash were the ones banned by him. He picked 1st this game, so he picked 2nd New Zealand. And then I chose Herman Goring on balance, and he chose Maverick, which I thought was an interesting choice for this map. These river maps, I always just tend to pick balance because they tend to go a little bit longer, and as you can see by the length of this game, this was no exception. In terms of our decks, up here on the screen you can see Vulcan's deck. Pretty standard build of 2nd New Zealand, nothing super duper special. He only has 1 card of 6-pounders, which I thought was interesting, so he didn't feel like he needed much light AT, although the 6-pounders would do great against my deck since it's mostly Panzer IVs and armored cars and things like that. But he does have 2 cards of those 17-pounders, which, you know, can be really, really frustrating. Hopping over to my deck here, pretty standard Herman Goring deck build. Yeah, I have it built differently when I play quick play, but for like this against this division on this map, I did not have the Sturm Tiger in. I mean, they're really fun, but it's just not a super competitive unit, truth be told, especially balanced on Maverick. The only chance I'd have to bring it out is probably in Phase C, and I just didn't think I would need it that desperately there, although it probably could have helped in a few situations, like killing some 17-pounders or something at times. Spoiler alert coming in the next 5 seconds. I'm just going to talk about how the game went so you have an idea of how it goes. If you don't want to hear that, please skip to the timestamp noted down below. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this game, as I'm sure you can see, was a heck of a grind, and it was so exciting, like super duper intense. I was basically sweating the whole way through, and he pushed, and he almost won, and I held out. Like, and remember, there's a 50-minute time limit here. It was literally down, like my tickets were down to here, and I was able to pick up a double tick, and he just kept draining, and he would have lost, like, he would have actually run out of tickets at like 50 minutes and 50 seconds, but he would have been far below me by that point anyway. It was nuts. It was just nuts. He would send in these massive waves of airplanes and just decimate parts of my line. It was crazy. I needed to call him more. He had a 17-pounder over here that just literally never missed. It had laser guided systems. It killed everything over here. It was so frustrating. But I was able to take his hill and hold the line and use, you know, basically just, I don't even know how I did it, to be honest with you. I really don't know how I did it, how I held the line. I made it work. I made some aggression down south here to kind of keep some flags in my favor, and then just fought on and fought hard to try to get there. I don't think really many units really stood out. The AtkPwr 4s. My AtkPwr 4s literally brick-walled his Shermans, and probably are the reason I won, because otherwise his Shermans would have just bullied the crap out of me all the time. So, yeah, really exciting. If you skip the spoiler, you are returned, and we're going to dive in here to this game. All right. Now, what I am going to do after the beginning here, and probably after about the first 30 minutes, I'm probably going to put it on double time, just because I'm trying to keep it a reasonable video length that people will actually watch. So I apologize if you're offended by going double time. So very early, he calls in a Recon Spitfire, which I sort of expected, but didn't really do anything to prevent. I decided getting in some early aggression down south was more important. I have quite an attack force coming in here to capture this hill. I decided my only chance to win was to at least have some flags on his side, and if you capture this one, there's a good chance of capturing this one. 2 flags would make it really hard for him to truly, you know, like, get a point advantage. I recognize I captured this point, and I could have kept pushing this Flammenwerfer up, but the fact of the matter was I wasn't going to hold this point with a single Flammenwerfer and Ersatztruppen, so I just let it go. You know, I just kind of just let him have it. Now up north here, he was sending a huge force of these stupid support Staghounds along with a Recon Staghound. I just have an SPW-233 just kind of for like AT job, but unfortunately this Staghound Mark 1 is going to be able to take me out. And then I basically don't have any armor defense over here, which is going to prove very dangerous. This MG42 holds off his machine guns pretty well. I'm able to easily get on this hill because he's not really making a heavy push, and he redirects his 6-pounder here. Interesting. I did take out something. I forget what this was. Oh, it was the another one of the Staghounds. His only 2 Recon Staghounds. SPW-233 trying to take on this Staghound, and so for some reason, I mean, it's stressed out, so it just keeps missing. Oh, it did kill that. Okay, I missed that kill. These Staghounds just kind of bomb it to death here. Well, it forces the retreat, I should say. I'm already, like, falling back, and he ends up falling back anyway. The Ersatztruppen have no chance. This MG42, though, can definitely lay down some fire and hold off the infantry for a bit. I do have a Panzer T-34 and a PaK-38 coming in to try to stop this mess, along with some Ersatztruppen. I am able to grab this flag and this one, which, so I actually have the 1311 here to start. Moving these troops up until the edge here. This MG42 can hold off most things, actually. Able to easily push him off the hill because he didn't send very much. Now, our first Spitfire bomber of the game, my ME-410B1, totally missing this Spitfire. I redirect it to here. It doesn't get on target. These things are really crap. They really are. We keep trying to make them work, thinking, oh, this game, they'll do okay. They'll chase a bomber down or something. And every time they disappoint me, especially the ME-410 variant. The JU one, there's a JU, like, heavier one with 30 mils. That one's okay-ish. Now, this 6-pounder, I thought I was being clever putting this 233 around, and if I had put it further this way, then it really would have been clever. But unfortunately, he had this 6-pounder positioned here and kills my 233, though I still have this flag because he's got nothing there. Setting up a Pioneer and some other defenses. The SDKF 251, I decided to purposely bring in some half-tracks because his division doesn't have a ton of infantry AT unless he brings in, like, the Digger Piats, which he does not have infinite of. The 50mm here getting suppressed easily and overwhelmed by the Sherman and the stupid plane. And for some reason, I still have not brought in any AA. I was too panicked about the fact that he actually had pushed through this T-34 coming into range of all this stuff, and it's just getting, like, pounded on. I actually, like, manually targeted the Staghounds because I was more concerned about killing all this infantry support than I was about killing... This wasn't going to kill either of these other things. Unfortunately, I get a loader wounded, so he's not even, like, firing now. He's not falling back. He's going to get killed eventually here by just this overwhelming firepower. And now it's no longer even targeted because of that loader reload thing. Gets the fallback, is now probably going to get side shot. And there it goes from the 6-pounder. Back to a 12-12. 30-inch carry comes in now. The MP44 Pioneers easily can wipe these dudes out. Flammenwerfer getting hit. The 231 I think swings around here. Try to quick take out this carrier. I have a 38 like coming up here to try to set up to cut this off. I get a little too aggressive with it though, and this 6-pounder is actually going to take me out before I even unload. Very frustrating. I didn't even notice this. I didn't notice this 6-pounder for like the longest time. It's kind of bad. Oh, it does come out, but it doesn't survive the Oplites. Oplites? Oplites? Not sure. Let me know down in the comments. Finally bring in some AA here, the 20 mil. And this is bad. He has gotten a pretty significant punch through here. That my only saving grace is that, again, I have captured these 2 flags down here, so the fact he captured 2 up here is being negated. Finally have forced off his Spitfire, although it probably was out of ammo and fuel anyway. Bringing in this 50mm Pak 38 here to try to stymie these Staghounds. Need him to set up immediately. They lost sight because he's got no more recon over here. So once he went into the trees, I was finally safe again. Unfortunately, the APCR is still on, so despite the fact I land a hit, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it does something, but it doesn't do enough to actually kill him. He moves in these Oplites on return fire, so they don't reveal themselves. He is able to capture this and now pick up the 1311. Once again here, though, the lack of infantry leaders now leaves his infantry... Not infantry leaders, excuse me. Infantry AT now leaves his troops at the mercy of mine. I have no reinforcements coming in right now, but I don't really need them. I'm far more busy reinforcing the north. I have this Jagdpanzer IV coming in. This should be able to completely blunt the Shermans and such. The Sherman did go down, actually, to my Pak 38, which is pretty exciting. I'm not sure where that carcass is. Oh, right there. Dead Sherman from the Pak 38. That was actually a big kill. Really needed that to relieve the pressure, because otherwise he could have just kept pushing through with this Sherman. He probably would have. And I have nothing to stop it. So I was really thankful about that. More Shermans coming in. Jagdpanzer IV, though, definitely can just bully every bit of armor he has. The only thing I have to be careful of course, is that 6-pounder on the hill and any sort of 17-pounders he may bring in later. So, honestly, at this point, I'm feeling okay. I mean, having grabbed this hill, I felt pretty good. Because that basically forced him to capture 2 flags to even get the +1 tick. So that feels pretty good, but I'm feeling really bad about this. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to push him out of this. He's got Maoris in here now. You know, his infantry are obviously superior to mine at the moment. My Urzats suck. I do have Valkyries, which I'm going to bring up north eventually to try to stymie this, but they don't match up well against these dudes at the range I end up. And we can see here why New Zealand infantry is so feared. They are very dangerous. Spitfire, floating around. My 20 mils are not nearly enough to stop them. Luckily, he's using them on Urzatstruppen, which I don't really care about anyway. And now he's got a Spitfire down here as well. Sherman moving up. These 3-star or 2-star Shermans are just so deadly. They aim so quickly and overwhelm your troops so fast, they can be very, very frustrating. And I know he knew that. That's why he picked this division. Because he bullied me with a Sherman division before. So he was doing it again. These Staghound Mark IIs popping in and out to crush my infantry. I had called in some Valkyries. The problem is you have to bring them in unvetted. So they definitely do not overperform in any way. When you're at the exact right range, they can be dangerous, but they have to be the exact right range. Every time one of my infantry revealed themselves up on this hill, they would get insta-bombed, you know, wiping out somebody. Now, the Valkyrie performs pretty well in this position. This Sherman pushed up, not good. I was moving this Pak 38 forward to try to put it onto the hill. My Valkyrie, I moved them forward to try to throw a grenade. That failed miserably because apparently the Sherman has super eyeballs. I didn't think it should be able to see me in that, like, cover infantry, but apparently they can. So 231 falling back immediately. Over here, Jagdpanzer is taking up kind of a defensive back position. I took out some of the Staghounds here with it, so that was important. That relieved a lot of pressure. These were actually really hurting me because I wasn't able to establish any infantry positions whatsoever. And he's pushed into the second line of the town here. This MG42, just a hero, holding off tons of troops. Here in the woods, throwing my 251/1 to hold that off. The Pak 38 putting a penetration on the Sherman, but now unfortunately under attack by the Oplites here. I think it's Oplites. Valkyrie unsuppresses, so they re-grab that position. My MG42s were pretty key, actually. in holding off some of this infantry here and there. I have a Panzerschreck coming in. Got to take out this Sherman, otherwise I'll never regrab this hill. I'll be in extreme danger. And losing these points, I probably lose the game, because I will no longer have any sort of... He won't have to work at all, basically. Valkyrie coming in. I wish I had pushed this just forward and recaptured this forest, but I didn't. I left this flag to him. I kind of thought there'd be some more stuff over here, and there wasn't. You know, his hold over here is actually... I mean, this is pretty strong, but otherwise it's relatively thin. It's not like he's got several units deep. He's lost a lot of stuff to get across that bridge, and he's now losing a lot of units over here. I finally call in a flak 88. It doesn't shoot it down, unfortunately. The Panzerschreck did take out that Sherman. That was a massive kill for me. I have more Valkyries coming in, along with some Begleitgren. So now we're in phase B. So I have my Begleitgrens, another card of MP44, basically Begleit Pioneers, excuse me, coming in down there. It is 1410 though. I'm not bleeding too hard yet, though. Now we have Field Engineers coming in with a whole crap ton of Maoris. T-34 moving forward. Out of range of the 6-pounder for now, but it will sneak into the range. As I said, MG42 still being a hero here. Hits up anything that comes over that bridge. Over here, just happy to sit. I'm assuming he has a whole bunch of close-range units, which he does. Of course, the big deal here is over here. Now, diggers, showing why Piats suck. Screw you, Piats. Piats are terrible. And it's nice for once someone else's Piat missed. Now, here's where it starts. Where Vulcan starts bringing in masses of planes. These Spitfires carry such a massive bomb load, and he just erases my units here. I purposely target the digger with my Valkyrie. Killing this digger unit is far more important than shooting at one of these. Takes away their veterancy and removes all the AT power out of here. So if I bring up more recon, which I am, they no longer have AT. I move this guy so he can get into some green cover and actually like fight these dudes. This is not a perfect range for the Valkyrie, but it's an okay range because you actually get to use those MP44s. You can see they can lay down some pretty good fire, though he's going to definitely get overwhelmed here pretty soon. Unfortunately, against the Field Engineers, this is a terrible matchup. And now he has an off-map coming in, his only off-map, 140 mil, quite dangerous, and now I'm panicking because I'm pushed off this hill again. I was able to recapture this with a Pioneer, so that was exciting. Kept me out of the 15-9 range, but now a Boston coming in as well. Of course, these 20 mils are no match to stop this, and I immediately fall back to try to retain this MP44 unit, which I am able to do. Totally dodge that bombing run. My recon gets taken out by the Sherman, but now the Jagdpanzer IV has found the Sherman. Really important kill for me to open this area up. Moving a Valkyrie in, hoping to overwhelm these Oplites. I'm thinking I should be able to. Combat commences. I seem to have the early advantage here. But then that veterancy starts to take effect. You can see suppression building on my troops very quickly. Along with his ability to use his light machine gun up close. Fortunately, my MP44 guys die. Anyway, he makes a small push here. My SDKFZ 251 easily pushes that off. My infantry are trapped in this ravine, but the 231 easily pushes up because he has no AT. Also support from my MG42 across the way here. My 231 is just shredding his troops. He's bringing in a bomber to do what he did before and kill my 231, and it succeeds again. The bombing load on these guys is just so heavy, and this 88 just isn't putting the shots on soon enough to stop it. Valkyrie coming in. My troops took very little damage, though. They were suppressed by that off-map, but they didn't really take damage. So I'm able to get back onto the hill again, bring it back to a 12-12 along with this little punch-out here. He has nothing. I mean, he's got nothing there. And this Oplite just freaking brick walls my infantry. I mean, very frustrating. He's got a 17-pounder coming in. Unfortunately, bombers, once again, taking out my half-track. These just reload so quickly. Oh my god, they're in all the time. Off-map coming in again. He gets 3 charges out of this thing. unfortunately for me. 140mm isn't like super deadly, but it's still like, it's way more deadly than a 105 or 70mm. 17 pounder now in. Now the danger has truly started. Apparently this thing cannot miss. Apparently it cannot miss. Can't miss, won't miss. There you go. Hits first shot. 45% accuracy. I think this thing misses one time the whole game. One shot the whole game when it was highly stressed. Move this out of the building to stop this combat because the 2-on-1 is just absolutely devastating. Still 14-10. But it is phase B, and this is when he's getting his most income. So if I can hold through this, I may have a chance, although it's definitely not looking great. It's very bleak. And panic is setting in. Valkyrie repinned down here. With this 17 pounder on the hill now, my armor can no longer move out. And he's got this massive air force. Here comes these freaking Spitfires again. Coming for this middle unit, this Ersatztruppen, I'm assuming in the church. Now, I do have the 88 this time that can reach out. The 20mm does help suppress something, and I'm able to actually suppress both of these. I think it's one of the only times in the game where I'm actually able to suppress these freaking Spitfires. Off map coming in, lost a Begleitgren here. Do still have some troops, but they're going to immediately... I'm going to lose that half track, which is actually quite important for my defense. Because, again, he can't really deal with them. Valkyrie falls back, ends up out in the open here. I don't notice because I'm too busy fighting down here. Ersatz Begleit's coming in, trying to stop this and start to maybe recapture this. He throws a Sherman right here on the flag to make sure he holds it. I don't really have anything to do with it right now. Pack 38 here, though, positioned for this exact reason. If he makes some sort of push over this bridge, and he's doing it with the unit that I can actually do something about, which is this Sherman. He's finally within APCR range here momentarily. I do get a lucky pen, though. And the second one penetrates again. Sherman taken out. Thank goodness. That would have been really bad having that run around my back lines. Another Sherman in the woods. My 231 has to back off. Panzergrens coming in. These guys have a Panzerfaust, though, a little bit better than the Valkyries with their handheld grenades, so they actually have a little bit of range. I might actually be able to do something. Unfortunately, due to the depression of the gun, the SPW is not firing its actual autocannon. It's just firing a machine gun, which in this case is enough, but still frustrating. Another massive Air Force attack strike over here. Ersatztruppen fall back and are able to survive because of the fallback. I immediately lose a BF-109 G6 because they are also really bad. The bad fighters in this deck is very hard to work with. Jagdpanzer IV coming in. It doesn't matter that it's close range. He cannot penetrate this thing with his Sherman. It is indestructible to his Sherman as long as I'm facing forward. As long as I am facing forward. This was ballsy. I gotta tell you, this was extremely ballsy. I realize how ballsy this is, and I immediately back up. Because, yeah, bad idea. And thank goodness I did, because there's Diggers Piat and Diggers Leaders here, which both have, obviously, the Piats. Support from this NG-42 continuing. It is key, actually, to me not getting fully pushed off this hill. Now there are two Shermans here. I'm not sure what Vulcan was thinking. I'm bringing a Jagdpanzer IV, and this will easily delete these two Shermans. Bringing in reinforcements here because he grabbed this. It's now 16-8. This is bad. Things are slipping for me. Things are slipping, and I am panicking, trying to hold on. Luckily, this is the last two of his snipers, so if I can kill these things, he will have no more snipers that I have to deal with, so that's exciting. Infantry getting wiped out in this ravine. This is one of the worst positions you can be in this spot because your troops get stuck here, and it's very hard to get back up onto the hill once a secure line has been established, and I have no off-map or anything. But Begleitgrens in can definitely handle these Maoris quite well. I'm going to lose my leader, which is a serious loss because it's keeping my troops here, like, capable. MG4... Panzergrens engaging the Piats at range. This is a very favorable confrontation here for me. I've now pushed the Jagdpanzer IV and moved him up out of the line of sight of the 17-pounder right here into this spot. I know he has nothing that can deal with this, so I'm finally able to recapture this flag. This is key, bringing me back to a 14-10. The Jagdpanzer IV now engaging the Sherman. This is an easy win. I literally have nothing to fear as long as I stay out of sight of this 17-pounder. Take out one of these. I'm somehow able to push back onto this hill. The Panzergren is able to get a Panzerfaust off on this Sherman. Oh my god, I'm turning it around in this hill, which is incredible because there were so many troops on this hill only moments before. I'm able to recapture this, once again bring it to a 1410. I'm getting airstruck again, but luckily the Jagdpanzer are a little different than those SBWs. It actually has some armor, so it holds off against that. But look, it's just these waves of air units. I now have 2 sets of 20 mils, which is the equivalent of an SDK of Z71. And I'm actually finally able to take out this Boston. That's huge. Every single plane I can kill is key to my survival. Jagdpanzer 4 stopping the field engineers from pushing in any further, taking one out in a Jeep, and the others are getting pinned down. This MG42 finally getting forced to back off. And I push back into this area, recapturing this frag, bringing it to a 1311. I tried to go capture this, but there were a couple more things here than I thought, along with this 6-pounder whenever it gets line of sight. And I'm pushed back onto the hill. I'm bringing in a Panzer IV to kind of brawl, along with this Pak 38 for emergency fallback if I get pushed off again. I'm not able to force off this Spitfire in time. I'm finally bringing in a Flak 88, a 41 over here to try to stop this obnoxious air spam. And I'm not sure I would call it air spam per se, but my god, it's a lot of air. I was able to push into this, and I'm in no rush to push out of it. If he's not going to push back now, I have no idea this is all he has here, but truthfully, it's unlikely I'll grab this flag, and I'm not ready to commit the forces necessary to push across. Sherman pushed off by my Pak 38 again. We are now into phase C, so here I need to be able to push him off, but this is not great. Jagdpanzer 4 takes out the other Sherman, so now we are Sherman-less in the town here. The only thing really holding me off is this freaking 17-pounder that cannot miss. Over here, I finally get a Jagdpanzer 4 into position on this hill like I've been trying to do the entire game, and take out an infantry unit, forcing these to unload, buying me a whole bunch of time. Of course, I'm attack moving this Jagdpanzer 4 forward, but it keeps getting held up, killing Maoris with HE shells. Here comes a Boston. This 88 is not enough to actually stop this, and it's about to run out of ammo, which is bad because I'm now out of ammo. Now, essentially, I have no AA over here. I am bringing in some 20 mils to try to reinforce that, along with a whole bunch of more reinforcements. Jagdpanzer 4 still taking on infantry. I start backing it up, realize there's a Sherman there, move it forward, but the Panzerschreck is there, thank goodness, takes out that Sherman. This thing has been invaluable over here. Over here, his infantry are just kind of sitting. He's not able to get close enough to push off this influence on the flag. But the thing is, it's still 13-0, and you have to remember there's a 50-minute time limit. And that may seem far away, but the fact is I have a huge flag deficit, and with this massive Air Force once again coming in here, it may be very difficult to get on here. I've moved forward to take out this Sherman, but unfortunately I'm immediately bombed by the waves of planes, and this is when I realize my 88 has run out of ammo. The bomb coming in, taking out my Panzerschreck. Panzer IV survives, though. Sherman taking a shot at the Jagdpanzer 4, and he's so good with micro on these Shermans. I cannot get targets on them half the time. I am able to take out take another shot, though, because I'm back on this hill. Jagdpanzer 4 taking out an infantry. This is huge every time this happens, because he's now down to 80 points. So every time he uses an infantry unit, it's like he's using a third of his income on a tick. It's pretty massive. Now he's got an 81 mil mortar finally in. Remember, he doesn't really have much artillery, we discovered. Finally, Begleitgren's moving in. These guys should actually be able to win, even if with the cover deficit, I'm hoping. At least that's the concept here. I am taking a lot of damage, but I am winning this fight. Panzergren, though, against all these units is a little much. Still 13-11, though. As long as he can hold on to this, he will win. I mean, he only has to survive 10 more minutes. 20 mils finally in. Unfortunately, one is not firing. It's kind of annoying. More Begleits coming in with Panzergrens. I have a support coming in to refuel this up. I'm hoping this combination of AA is enough. Probably is not, especially with the waves of stuff he is sending. I probably have enough over here finally to stop at least getting bombed by everything. I probably won't stop all 4 planes when he calls them in. At least I can feel now that his Air Force will stop growing at this point, because, you know, each one of those planes costs 100 points plus. So at this point, the Air Force should stop growing because he has to wait 2 whole ticks to get it. This smoke has blocked up my Jagdpanzer IV, so that's why I'm not moving it up in any way. But Glycran pinning down everything over here. 81 mil mortar just kind of coming in now. Here comes a Boston. Unfortunately, the flak was not reloaded in time, so it's way late to the party. Bombs coming in. This one is going to take out my Jagdpanzer IV, which is devastating. I was already in my mind considering bringing in another one. But my BF-109 finally gets a kill. This is miraculous. I think that's the only use it was the entire game. But at this point, any kill like that is huge. Pioneer engaging the Maori. I move it up to get it close enough for grenade range, and that does it. Now, once again, his issue, only one unit with some AT. So running into my 251/1 is basically a brick wall. And it's awesome. Here comes his Air Force. Luckily, though, it flew across my 88, which actually gave me time to suppress them for once, and I'm able to hold off that bombing run. Over here, I have infantry pouring in. I'm trying to kill this salient of stuff. My SDKFZ flak here getting a hit by this 17-pounder that he moved around. Jagdpanzer IV in a safe spot, though. It should be safe from any more attacks from these units. 6-pounder taking some shots at my SDKFZ, and they don't miss. Can't miss, won't miss. Down to 8 minutes. Panic has fully set in. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point. I'm just kind of pouring troops in. The income advantage is finally over. So, like, the income bonus he got from his Maverick income has finally ended. I now finally have the actual advantage in, you know, points. Still have some SBWs left over, moving those in. Finally calling in a mortar of my own, though I don't really have anything to actually spot for it. I'm just kind of using it as a mortar. 17-pounder gets an eyeball, an impossible eyeball. There is no line of sight here, just want to note. That is a magic line of sight. And of course, 2 shots, doesn't miss. Laser guided 17-pounder. I'm not sure what to say about that. I'm angry about it, even watching it again. Sherman coming in, but most of his infantry has died. And I don't know if he's got much more. He's burned through a lot of it. My infantry finally pushing forward. Finally going to re-exert control on this flag. Hopefully bringing it back to a 12-12. Stopping this bleed. Taking me out of immediate loss range. Though I still need to make up this huge point deficit. And at the moment, it doesn't feel like I have anywhere to really do that. I got to push him out of this town, but my units are getting crushed at close range by these Maoris with their Thompsons and such. I really don't have a ton of close range units left, which is a problem. Air Force coming in again, does a huge bombing run. I'm able to stop some of it, but not enough of it per usual. He has no AA. I guess he just doesn't feel like he needs it. I mean, honestly, what is he shooting down, really? These dinky fighters. Another Jagdpanzer IV coming in. Set up a Pack 40 here on the hill. Trying to get some shots off, but it keeps getting suppressed by 81 mils and stuff. Although here, finally get a shot off on this Sherman, but it's going to get insta-suppressed now because, of course, it's already very near suppression. His 6-pounder's in a bad spot. I push forward and grab this, and now it's a 13-11. The turnaround. Maybe. It is a tenuous 13-11, to say the least. Jagdpanzer IV forward. Easily kills this Sherman. God, I love these things. Jagdpanzer IV versus this Wolverine. Still a really bad matchup. These only have 130 millimeters of penetration. This thing has 130 millimeters of armor. So only at very close range can this pen, and it obviously does not and gets immediately destroyed. But Glycran's taking out this field engineer on the hill, clearing this hill off finally. There's basically no more infantry to worry about, and I have secured this southern hill. He's got some Oplites coming in, but that's not going to be enough, especially now with my Jagdpanzer set up on this hill again. Still have this flag recapture, but he's able to move this forward, using my mortar here to try to kind of bomb them out. But Glycran moving forward, but I can't just willy-nilly move forward because this 17-pounder is still here. He's had to move it around a bit because I've started to try to get at it. I have a Grilla coming in. Nope, that's the first one I brought in. Kind of forgot I had him, not gonna lie. 81 mil coming in. Unfortunately, without the radio, its effect is minor. Unfortunately, that Sherman picks off my Begleitgrens. Very frustrating because I don't have many close range units left, and that was one of them. Using smoke from his 81mm mortar to stop this will try to kill this. I thought it was smoke. It's just trying to kill it. Oplite is forced to unload way behind, way back. Still at a 12-12. I now have troops just kind of pouring in. And at this point, I have basically stabilized the line. Like, I'm not in any imminent chance of losing unless he can pick up a flag somewhere, which is seeming unlikely at this point. He did bring in a 17-pounder. Unfortunately, I did not notice it. And he takes out my Jagdpanzer IV with his laser-guided 17-pounders, which for me never hit, but for him never miss. But I have a very thick defense in here. And now I've grabbed this flag as well. So at this point, it's whether I can actually capture enough flags to get his flags down by the 50-minute mark. So I am going to put it in double time now. Oop. Sorry. I do that every time. 88, taking some shots at these field engineers. Pack 40 taking on this Sherman. He falls back. Infantry taking out my Pack 40 here, although I am able to retreat it, so it looks like it may survive. Begleitgrens fighting back with that SPW 231 around the corner, but the 6-pounder easily taking that out. 17-pounder never misses. Another unit dead with its magical super shots. 45% accuracy, hits 100% of the time. My Flak 88 finally can get some shots on this thing. It's a miracle. Guerrilla coming in actually has some support. The first grill died from the 17-pounder that never misses. First shot. Panzer IV in, taking on that 6-pounder at range, so it does have the range. It can't reach. 6-pounder's dead. Guerrilla misses completely. Very exciting. Panzer IV takes it on. Boom. Hits. Never misses, folks. Never misses. I think this coming up here is the only time it misses because it's suppressed, and it misses once. Here we go. Guerrilla's in range. 88 is currently pounding it. Fires, and there's the only miss of the game from this 17-pounder. Look at the level of suppression, and it doesn't miss again. What a miracle. And it still's not dead. Ah! But I have been able to finally capture another flag, bringing it to a 13-11. I make a big push over here, wipe out the troops that are in this location. He's got the Sherman in a really weird spot. I'm not even sure how he found that line of sight. Panzer IV moving forward to try to take this out. Sherman versus Panzer IV, though, terrible matchup. Sherman wins almost every time because it just aims so much faster. Panzer IV on the hill here takes out something. And still this 17-pounder lives, but now finally has been forced off of the crest of the hill. And my infantry are just pouring in now. They are no longer stopped by the reinforcements. So I have T-34 Panzer IV. Now I'm just spamming. I need to capture points. I got to get this to a 15-9. I'm able to capture this point as well. Still 13-11 though because he holds so many flags over here. So I got to move in some stuff. Panzer IV coming in to support and take out this HMG. I finally catch sight of this Maori. Mortar coming in as well. 17-pounder has snuck forward once again. Panzer III fails to take out these Oplites. 88 shooting these snipers. I need these to die so he loses sight. My infantry gets suppressed. Still 14-10, so I'm not able to grab the 15-9. The frustration is real. Take out these Maoris, though, so I do recapture this flag. Sniper dies finally after all this time. I think that 17-pounder killed a full, like, list of units. Like, when you look at it, it's going to be like a full page of the 17-pounder that never misses. Can't miss, won't miss. Hashtag it in the chats. We finally have picked up the 15-9. I have 12 minutes. That will put me just in before, but he blocks it again. Back to the 15-9. Panzer IV moving in here. Try to support. Takes out the Sherman 3. Actually, it's the Panzerfaust that did it. And I'm able to open up a huge salient here. Panzer IV is coming in. I finally have 150 mil coming in. Jagdpanzer IV again. T-34 pushes forward. I decided to put it like right here underneath the hill to try to cut all this off. I cannot kill these units though. I don't have anything close range that can beat this crap at close range, and I'm just getting devastated over and over again by these stupid infantry. But it is a 17-7. It appears maybe I have turned it around. Here comes the Air Force, though. And he's going to just erase a whole bunch of my units. T-34 gets taken down by the bombers. This Panzergren that I moved in, dead. Back to a 15-9. It swings so quickly. And not because we're on double time. We're back to a 14-10. Panic resets in because, again, I gotta basically I gotta get him all the way past my flag line. All the way over to here. And I'm not sure that's gonna do it at this point. For some reason, the flak's not firing. I guess it was in a worse position. I really thought it was on a great spot that I could see everything. Apparently, it's not. I continue to try to push over the hill. Boston goes down. Thank goodness. Decide to make a little push over the bridge here. I decide he can't have that much here. So I move in to occupy this. Unfortunately, the thing that's there is a Sherman. Basically, he's holding line with a couple Shermans now. He's bringing in one Sherman a tick. This has obviously been completed, blunted. I'm holding this 15-9, but there's really nothing for me to capture over here. That's a long way back for me to get to there. So I don't. Fighting hard. These Oplites continue to survive, meaning he continues to hold this flag to my extreme frustration. Panzer III sees it finally. I'm in there, but now the Sherman's here for support. Unload early because I noticed the Sherman here. I don't want him to die. My SPW 233 goes down to the Sherman, not before getting penetrated by probably this Panzer IV. Panzer IV isn't shooting, though. I guess it can't see it somehow. Pioneer's in. Sherman pops out, takes a shot at my Panzer IV. Panzer IV bounces at this range. Oh my god. The frustration. The Air Force has returned, taking out my Pioneer. Mother Pioneer moving in, finally kills that, but the Sherman is there. Oh my goodness. 15-9 though. Got a 7-minute tick. We're doing it. We're doing it. Oh my god. No way. Is AtkPwr actually going to win 2 games against Vulcan after never winning before? Oh, the Pioneer gets suppressed and surrendered. SDKFZ 251 gets killed. Panzer IV takes a shot at the 17-pounder, but 17-pounders from Vulcan never miss. Never, ever, ever. God, the frustration. Why aren't they missing? SDKFZ moves forward. I feel pretty safe. I took out the Sherman down here with the Panzer IV. Maybe I could grab this flag, but there's a number of units here, so that's unlikely. And he has now like set up defenses here, but the 150 is dropping some payload down on them to try to punish him for these bunched up units. This SDKFZ finally finds this. The guerrilla finishes it off, capturing this flag as well. Panzer IV goes down to the Sherman. Another Panzer IV gets a hit, but I cannot seem to kill these things efficiently. But it is 16-8. Only 5 minutes. This is going to come down to the wire. If I had not gotten the double tick, I don't think I would have made it in time. That's why I'm desperately holding it. Spitfire getting suppressed. I finally brought in another 88. I don't know why I waited so long to do that. Panzer IV gets a hit on this Sherman. I don't think he expected that line of sight, but my Sherman dies, but I have another Panzer IV over here, or something that kills that, thank goodness. This one goes down as well to, I think, the 88. 16-8 being held. The Air Force is in once again, but now I finally have some actual defenses, but yet still a bomb still gets off. And Vulcan throws in the towel, realizing he's not going to be able to hold on. 45 minutes on Bobr. The KD are almost equal, 4170 to 3890. I was pumped. Like pumped. This was so intense. So much fun. Absolutely great game to Vulcan. Very well played. Yeah, if we look over here, just kills. Spitfire. 6-pound. Just look at the laundry list of kills on this stuff. Spitfire again. Look at this thing. I mean, I would have thought this was an AT plane. I mean, he just traded really well. Spitfire. Again, these planes just devastating. Here, is this? Yes. This is the 17-pounder on the hill. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, just overall solid. MG42, hero. Jagdpanzer IV, hero. More MG42 heroing. Pioneers. I mean, I traded well as well. I mean, you can see I have huge chunks of units here that wiped out tons. We did both make a lot of use out of our units. think maybe he a little bit better than me. But truthfully, at the end, I was just like spamming units out to try to capture that double tick. You can see here. Just spam. And Panzer IVs are just, they're made of paper mache. They die to everything. Very annoying. Fantastic game to Vulcan. Incredible stuff. I actually went 2-0 in this series against him. I was not expecting that in any way whatsoever. So very, very exciting. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button, subscribe, and consider joining us on Patreon for all those cool benefits. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a fantastic day.